Boy, is this an exciting trip. Wow. The Ouray Via Ferrata just opened up this last week, and we've had the pleasure of doing it twice already. And I had somebody ask, what does Via Ferrata mean? And in Italian, it means iron way. By definition, it's a mountain route that's equipped with steel cables, ladders, and other fixed anchors. The setting for this particular Via Ferrata is just incredible. It's in the same place where we ice climb every winter, in this narrow gorge with the river running at the bottom of it. Well, you're going to see that. So what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like from start to finish so you know what to expect. And then after that, I'll get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. You know, where is Ouray, Colorado? Where do you park? And what you need in the way of equipment, gear, and experience to do this. It's just really fun. So let's take a look. as you can see, this is one exciting trip. It was so much fun. I mean, it just, wow. I'd like to first tell you a little bit about my background so you know where I'm coming from when I'm talking about this stuff. 48 years ago, I started rock climbing, also an ice climber. We spent some time in the mountains, bagging peaks, day hiking, got a couple kayaks that we like to play in too. So we really enjoy these types of activities. And firstly and foremost is to the men and women who put this project together. It's just a staggering undertaking. When you look at the scope of this, it's just so very impressive. So to the men and women that, and I understand this has been a project that has been years in the making, thanks very much. You did a great job. And you know, I've done the Ouray Via Ferrata a few times, and this Via Ferrata really impressed me in one respect, is the safety of it. From the time that you walk through the first gate till you step on the final platform at the end, you are clipped into a cable. So it's a comfortable trip. And so anyway, just a big thank you to the folks that put this together. So now, for those of you who may not know exactly where Ouray, Colorado is, we'll bring up a map here and show you. Now, Ouray is considered the little Switzerland of the United States. It's just a drop-dead beautiful place. So, okay, let's bring in the map. Ouray is at the beginning or the end of the $1 Million Highway, depending on where you start and finish. It's north of Durango and Silverton, and it's south, maybe another landmark type city would be south of Grand Junction, Montrose, and Ridgeway. So that's the location of Ouray, and again, it's just such a beautiful place. You really got to see it. So now let me get a little bit more organized here, and we'll talk about the nuts and bolts. All right, let's talk about experience first. Do I need any experience to do this Ouray Via Ferrata? No, you don't. But if you don't have experience, I would really suggest going and hiring a guide on your trip. Or if you know a climber who has a lot of experience and has some background in rock climbing, that would also be a way to go. But for the newcomer, in the town of Ouray, on the main street there's the mountain shop, which is, I love the mountain shop. You can't go to Ouray and not walk through the mountain shop. And a couple doors down is San Juan Mountain Guide Service. The guide service is where you'd want to go to sign up to get a guide. Now, I've never used the guide service, but we've seen them in the field many times, and they're a good group of folks. I would suggest touching base with them if you have absolutely no experience at all. Now, the other thing is, what kind of shape do you need to be in to pull this off? If you're just coming off the couch, it might be a little bit of a challenge. But I mean, if you're fairly fit, you'll be fine with it. So again, I'm going to leave the San Juan Mountain Guides. I'll leave their link in the description below, as well as the Via Ferrata, and if I can find the mountain shop, I'll put it down there too, so you have places to go get information. Now about the equipment. There's 3 things that you must have, and these are mandatory. And of course, one pretty self-explanatory is a helmet. There's this young man at the beginning at the gate where you go in, and he gave us the the safety stuff and told us what we were going to be getting into and all that. A really energetic, fun guy. And he says, I think the mountain sheep that walk up there on the cliffs, I think they deliberately kick rocks down on our head. We haven't seen them in the last 3 times we've been up there, but we have seen them in the past. But it's just a good idea whenever you're climbing and out doing these types of things to have that protection. And you're going to need a climbing harness because you have to stay clipped into this cable for the entire trip. And you clip into the cable with a Via Ferrata lanyard. These are rated for the Via Ferrata. And they come in different there's the Volkswagen and then the Mercedes-Benz. This is more like the Volkswagen version, but by design what they do is if you were to slip off, like in rock climbing, the climbing rope is kind of like a bungee cord, and it stretches to absorb the energy. And for one reason, so it doesn't hurt you. With these lanyards, that's kind of the design. It's hard to explain if you're not a climber, but if you were to fall and you were just tied in with a static line or a piece of webbing and you hit the end of it, it can really, really hurt you badly. And what this is designed to do is absorb that energy should you fall. So this is absolutely mandatory piece of equipment. I had a friend go talk to the guide service there, the San Juan guide service, and he found out that they rent all of this gear. So again, if you're just going to do it one time, something like the harness, you know, you can spend $100 on that and over $100 on this. If you're just going to do it once or twice, maybe you'd want to check with the guide service and see if you could rent the stuff if you have the experience to do it. So that's what you absolutely have to have. And secondly, they recommend gloves. I haven't used gloves yet, but a couple times I wish I would have. I'm always, working with cameras. These I think are for fishing, and you can pop your fingers out of it. I was going to use them and didn't. But again, if you got if you haven't been out doing this stuff, the rungs that you climb on, they're a little coarse and rough, and the cable and so on, you get your hands super dirty. So gloves are not a bad idea. The other thing is to have a pack. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to carry water or maybe a snack or something, and it takes about 2.5–3 hours to do the Via Ferrata from start to finish. And so having some water or something like that is just a very good idea. The other thing for myself, our experience up in the mountains is anything afternoon, expect rain. It happens almost every day. And that's another thing, do your due diligence, look at the forecast and that sort of thing. But like I've seen people have these ponchos up there, and it's like the wind blows and they blow up over their head. And I mean, it can rain snow in just a matter of seconds. Weather can change. So this has nothing to do with anyone else, but my opinion is a rain jacket and rain pants. It's just something I always have. Okay, so I think that covers that. And so now I'm gonna take a little break and we'll come back and I will show you the maps on where to park and where to hike and so on to get to the beginning of the Ferrata. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, let's take a look at these maps. First I'm going to show you, fly through here real quickly, the map that's on the Via Ferrata, Ouray Via Ferrata website. And then also the rules. So you might want to go there and check this out in more detail, so that like on the map for the Via Ferrata, it kind of has the names of the bridges and so on. One thing to know, a good thing to know, when I was talking about how weather can pop up, or maybe you just bit off more than you can chew. Notice on the map that about halfway, I believe, is an exit up the side of the canyon there, so that you can get out. So if something happens, or you're uncomfortable, or you get hit by the sudden storm, there's an easy exit to get off the Via Ferrata. So now I'm going to bring in a couple of maps that I did on Google Maps. The parking area is on the first switchback just south of Ouray, and it's a big parking lot. In the summertime on the weekends, it's usually pretty full. It's where a lot of people stage their four-wheel drive trips, and you know, there's some day hikes that go out of there as well. So not everybody in that parking lot is on the Via Ferrata, I can assure you that. And then there's a second parking lot a little bit higher up. This is pretty small, and you want to be careful if you choose to park there. Pay attention to the signs. You don't want to come back and find that your car has been towed. So, but maybe it's a little bit more room. But again, it's a small parking lot. It fills up first. So from this second parking lot, you walk up the road, across a bridge, and not very far after that, there's a trail on your left-hand side, and it's called, I think, the Ice Loop Trail. So you take that trail up, and it hits like an old road, and you follow this road. So you see this. There's an outhouse up there that's used in the wintertime. I haven't seen it open in the summer yet, but just past that outhouse on the left-hand side, you'll see a sign. That's the beginning of the Via Ferrata. You then walk down that trail towards the canyon, and you'll come to some stairs that lead up and over the penstock, and that leads you right down to the beginning gate of the Via Ferrata. There was a young man there. I don't know if they'll be there all the time, probably so, and they'll get you signed in, and you know, have a little chat about the safety, what to expect, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it. Again, do your due diligence. Go to the Via Ferrata website and see if anything changes, any of the rules have changed, you know, all that kind of stuff. Also stop in at the mountain guides and chat with them. The other thing is the mountain shop also has information. They can steer you in the right direction and check the weather. So that's it in a nutshell. Be safe, do your due diligence, and have a great time. You're just going to love this, and don't forget to support. If you can, kick in a couple bucks to this Via Ferrata. They've just done a great job with it. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, GoPro, stop recording.